Then welcome to another Python class, and also welcome to all the guys who came back, like Monet and Tess, because they haven't been here the last times. Also, Cranky Mood apparently. Wait, just let's say hello here. That's you guys, and yeah, so welcome in again. Just wanted to say hi. I hope you did the last tasks, like task number 10 and 11, I assume. And we will have another catch up on Wednesday again, but now officially we do our Python class every Monday because on Sundays I don't have much time anymore, so we just do it like today. And I prepared a small agenda for you guys today, which you can see here. Give me a second. Yeah, this one. So, and I hope you like my big face here. Today we will just catch up what we are doing right now, like just to review what we know and then move forward, because I think the last two times I put a pause in to give you guys time to learn more things or to internalize what you learned so far, and then we can move on. And today I want to cover the topic how to work with Postgres like for real, with some code and examples, and I show you how you do it if I wouldn't be there. And I tried to show it to you in a way which I hoped and wished to see on YouTube, because many people just explain something and assume you have a specific software or this kind of knowledge already, right? And then we will just go over and talk about what's next in the ETL pipeline, or what you guys need to do now so we can actually move further in our whole roadmap. Like, because I wanted you guys to learn how to automate more processes, right? And but so far, does anybody have any questions for today's plan agenda? Hello? Am I muted?
No, it's all fine.
All right.
I'm excited to see what's to come.
Thank you, Johnny. All right, all right. Then the first thing which I need to tell you guys is in the catch-up part is that Johnny is my benchmark, so he has been actively working on all the tasks right now, and I think then we have Tess and maybe Afro, I don't know. But it's no big deal if you haven't catched up or caught up with the task. It's just for yourself, and you also can do other tasks. But so far, Johnny learned how to scrape Reddit already. So he worked with APIs, and we talked yesterday as well, and he just wondered what he should do next or focus next, and that's what I told him to do. Like, if you remember, we have the ETL pipeline, and we currently are still in the E phase or stage where we extract data. That's why my call to you is, if you really want to automate processes, you need to work with a lot of different data sources, file types. Like, I don't know, you need to go on this GitHub page, which I sent you once, and just check out different endpoints and see what they return, and like make as many requests and mistakes as possible so you actually make this experience, okay? And now we will just move over to the database part and the last step of the whole ETL pipeline, because in the previous ones we talked about how to transform it a little bit. That's why we work with data frames. Not data frames. Johnny did it actually. We work with dictionaries, not data frames. So if you don't know what data frames are, they are also a data type, but from the module pandas. But we haven't covered this one yet, because I think you don't need it yet before we covered databases. And That's what we're doing today, but Johnny already knows a lot, so maybe he also can help you on that one. But today we need to work on databases, Postgres. And to do that, the first thing you need to do is to download actually the Postgres database, because it doesn't matter if you work with MySQL, Postgres, or SQLite, or I don't know what else you want to work with. But if you want to do that, you need to download it first. And let me go on this page. Where is it? Here. So the first thing you need to do is just go on any browser and type or decide that you want to work with Postgres, and then you just Postgres Windows download. So that's what I did today actually, because this is my Windows PC. I actually don't work on this one. So for you guys, just go on this page, PostgreSQL.org, and then you just can download it here, and it's pretty straightforward. And if you have done this, you can choose what kind of software you have to install or you need to install, but you just can leave everything ticked, and then you have one specific software on your computer, which is called PGAdmin, which we talked about already. And let me open my one, PGAdmin, yeah, this one. So I actually downloaded it today as well. And this is your user interface where you work with your database and look at it. And I think you already have seen that, I hope so. My password, oh my God, what's my password? Yes, okay, I got it. So as you can see, this is your page, but I don't want to dive too deep into this page actually, because the only thing you need to know is that on the left side you have your file trees, which basically are your servers and your tables, which you can see here. And I installed Postgres 14, the recent version, and then you can see all your dashboards here, and then you can see what's happening, like how many server sessions do you have, what kind of transactions do you have. Like when you see somebody is inserting something into your database, and then you can see some charts popping up here, and then also all the other informations, but they are not that important for you. So this is just your dashboard if you want to see what's happening in your database. And I don't know if you can see that actually, or if I should make it a little bit bigger like last time, but it was such a, oh my God, hustle. Display. Can you see that, guys? Where is this? Display, no. Where is the font size? Come on, man. Properties. Dashboard, warning. I don't see it here. Where was it again? Johnny, do you know where it is?
The query tool, no? You're already there. But the query tool, it shows only the query tool, not like the whole interface.
Man, that's so weird. Wait, let me check.
Query tool, and then there it is.
Here, display.
No, refreshing. Refresh.
Font size.
Yeah,
Hey,
font
what is
size.
this, man? It can't be 1. Let's check. Oh, is it bigger?
Yeah, it's only the editor, not the UI. I don't know how to increase the UI.
Oh my God. Look what I have done. Okay. So the first thing you will see is that the user experience of this tool actually is not that good, but it does what it should do.
Not beginner friendly for sure.
Yeah, that's why just watch a specific video which just shows you how to use it. But actually it should be pretty clear. But I still don't know how I get the font size here. Maybe I should just Google it. Well, let me Google it. Where is it? Where's my internet? This one. PGAdmin font size. Oh my God. Control plus. Oh wow, really? I can't believe it. Oh my God, why didn't I do it? Okay. Rookie mistakes, guys.
What a noob.
Thank you, Blazer. All right, so when you did that, you can see here your Postgres version, and then you have your databases. And here down below, you can see your users or your groups which have access to your database. And I just created one here already, so you just can right click here and then create a user if you want to have something else, but the default user is Postgres. And I just created my name and I made myself an admin so I can use it in my Python code, because today we actually will move over to the Python code. I just give you a recap on this one. And then we have the databases, and I just created a database here, if you can see, and then I just wrote my name. In this case, I just used already the playground name, and you just can say playground self-dev or whatever you want. And then you can leave it to Postgres, or you created the other user and then you just put it here, and then you say save, and then it would pop up here in databases. But default, you already have Postgres. So you also could work with that one, but I wouldn't recommend that. Sorry, because you want to work with your own one, right? And you can see here in the schemas that you have the public data set here, and you can see tables, there's nothing, right? And now you have this editor here, which you can get by clicking on this button here at the top. Like, this is the most important button for you right now. So you just click on this one, and then it opens a new query tool for you. You can see they actually are tabs, and that's pretty good, because in BigQuery or on a cloud platform, the Google Cloud platform, actually they also work similar. Then you have different tabs, and then you can remove them or whatever you want. And I just want to remove the size a little bit, or I will just leave it like this. I think that looks pretty fine. So right now we have this one, and then you need to get familiar with SQL, okay, structured query language, but we will just assume you already know that, which I told you before. Like, you need to understand what is select, or what is from, and what is insert, or what is update. All those different SQL commands, they should be like your basic knowledge of SQL, and then you're good to go. So that's the first part you need to do just to work with Postgres, okay? And now we will go into our code, and I already copied some random code here, which you can see. Is it big enough actually? Oh my God, now it doesn't work with Control Plus. Thank you. I need to go here, 25, amazing. So, let me actually remove this. Oh, what's wrong here? Try, accept. Okay. So you can see this is my whole block. And basically what you need to do to work with Python is to get familiar with PsychoPG2, which Johnny probably already knows. This is your actual module, which will help you to connect and work with Postgres itself. Okay, so you have your database, which is somewhere which you don't see. And for me right now, it's just on my computer. But in the real world, when you work with a real product, for example, when let's assume Netflix is using Postgres, but they don't use it, and they have like their whole overview of Netflix movies on their front page, right? When you go on netflix.com and you're logged in, you see all those different names and pictures and what is it, trailers or whatever that is. And that also needs to be stored somewhere. And obviously it's stored in a cloud. But in our case, we don't have, or we don't want to connect ourselves to a cloud, but we just want to develop it locally. And that's why we have installed Postgres on your computer. And that's why you have PGAdmin opened. And if you have this opened, there are some software running in the background which actually are hosting your Postgres on your local computer. That's why your IP then would be localhost, if that makes sense, right? Because when you have imported PsychoPG, but if you go here and we go here, oh, where's my things? Python, no, what is it called? Python PsychoPG. So if you go here, You can see that they also have a web page, and then you can read about all of that if you want. But I will just leave it up for you if you want to read that or not. But the more you know, the better. But I never read all of that. I just read what I need to use. And yeah, that's just one thing on the side. Then, when we have done that, we have imported PsychoPG here, you know, with the import command. Wait, maybe I should make it a little bit bigger, man. So, and then you can see this block here. I just have a try except block, so I just catch an error if something is happening, okay? And the first thing you can see here is that they use PsychoPG2, and it has some functions, and then you connect with this. Because I think when you click on here with a control pressed, you can go into the module actually of PsychoPG, and then you can see what is actually going on here. So you can see Postgres, or like not Postgres actually, PsychoPG. This is the module, and it has a function which is called connect. And those are the arguments or the parameters which you have to pass over so it does what it should do. And you can read all about that or in the documentation, but I prefer to just click on the function, and then I can see it here, and then you can see what I need to add. Like I need to add the database name, database, and so on. But let's go back so I actually explain it to you. Because for me it's pretty trivial, and this is the normal view for me, but for you is that you need to write PsychoPG2, and all you just can say like this, for example, as PSQL, and then you just remove this one and say PSQL, and then for example here, let's just remove this. Oh no. Can we do this? Yeah, no, we can do this. Oh my god. Wait. No, shit, I can't do this. Okay, if you would write PSQL dot, then it would show you in your IDE what you could use. And in this case, I don't know if this is my PyCharm suggestion or my GitHub CoPilot, and because that's also one thing which I want to show you today, because I have GitHub CoPilot installed, and if you're a student, you can use it for free. And I just want to give you a taste of what GitHub CoPilot is doing. Because if you install it, you will be here, and then you write PSQL, and then it understands what you actually want to do, what you want to do, because you, Postgres or PsychoPG actually is connecting to, or is used to connect to a database, right? And in this case, I just could press tab. Oh no, I changed it actually to Alt Enter, I think. Yeah, so I press Alt Enter, and then I have the whole function called by itself. And in this case, I need to understand the parameters actually, because if you want to connect to a database, you need to understand what you need to do that. It's like login into Netflix, right? And to do that, of course, you need your username. In this case, it's user, and then you write whatever your name is. And in this case, the default user is Postgres, but I don't want to use Postgres, but I wanted to use my name, which I created for myself, which is Longshong. And if you go back here, you can see that Longshong actually exists here, right? And if you don't have that, oh my god, is it stuck here? No, it's not stuck. If you don't want to use it, you just can use Postgres, and then you need to look up what the default password for Postgres is, or you go here and properties, right click on Postgres, and then you can see all the tabs here, and then somewhere it should say password. And then you give in any random password, whatever you want. Oh my god. And then you press save, and that would be the new password for this user. But I don't want to do that. I just stick to Longshong, and then you can see the next parameter, or in this case, argument. You know, remember what the difference is between argument and parameter. Like here, the password is then my password. But remember, guys, or Johnny especially, if you do this, like if you're at this stage, don't write in your password just like that in production, right? So you don't write your password into your code. You you sort it out into a password manager or in an end file or config file, which is not part of your repository or your code. And that's what you do
So this
here.
password is your PayPal password too?
Actually, it's just my Instagram password, but don't tell
Okay.
anybody, okay?
I will try to hack you then. Okay. Nice.
Hey, today somebody tried to hack my account, okay? And somebody took it down for a few minutes, but I got it back because I have all my security measurements on. So that's why this is the call to you guys if you care about your accounts, or Hotmail account, Gmail accounts, Instagram, TikTok, whatever that is, or OnlyFans, turn on 2FA, okay? And wait, let me sip some water. So then you have the next, like the first thing is like user and password, right? But still Python doesn't know where do you want to connect to, right? And that's why you have to say which database. And in this case, it's the host parameter, or in this case, the argument for your host parameter. And here you can see the number 127.0.0.1, which stands for localhost. So I actually could write localhost as well, right? But you just need to understand that localhost is your computer, your local computer. Like I'm the host and it's local. That's why it's this number. And that's why you always see one or this IP is your home, or people, programmers say this is their home. And then you just, or basically you just can, yeah?
Can you show where you find this on PGAdmin? Is it also on the properties like you showed earlier?
Let me see. Wait.
Because I'm using localhost, but you have like actual numbers, so I almost.
Oh no! It's not written anywhere. Like the IP is not written anywhere. Like this number, like everybody has the same number. This number is the same for localhost for everybody.
Oh.
So it's not just for me; it's for you as well. So you could write this number, this IP, instead of localhost. Okay, so that's you see, because for me it's so clear, also for tests probably, but that's why I forgot to say that it's the same for everybody. But if you would work with a real database, then of course you have to write the real IP of this database here, which is your server or somewhere. And what I have to do in my job is that I have a BigQuery database somewhere, or Postgres in the cloud, and they provide me an IP, a public IP. And then I have to log in, but I need to use some credentials, which I get from Google Cloud Platform as well. Or I just say I will connect via SSH, or I have to put in my user and login, whatever that is. Okay? And yeah, and then the next one is your port. And that is actually, it could be any number, because for MySQL, it always is 80. And also, if you work with Jupyter Notebook, you can see that it says localhost, and then it says something like this. If you work with Jupyter Notebook, it will say something like this, localhost 8080. It will be like this. When you go on your browser and you have Jupyter Notebook opened, you will see this one, and this is the port, and they just say 8080, but the default port for Postgres always is 5432. You can write any port you want if it's not used, and then it works as well. Okay? And then you just say the name of your database, and remember the database is here. So I have to go to database, and then I have playground. And in this case, I just have playground. And then, oh my God, what's happening here? Look at this. Can you see that, guys? So I'm just pressing enter, and this whole, like this gray code here is the suggestion of GitHub CoPilot, and it tells me, I think you want to do that. And this is the next one, which I will explain to you. But just for the protocol, this is GitHub CoPilot. And for beginners, it could be useful. I'm not really sure if it could be useful. but then the code helps you, because GitHub CoPilot is your AI coding assistant, which basically tries to understand what you're doing, and then it takes or scans the public repositories on GitHub and figures out what you actually want, and then it just tells you, hey, maybe this is what you want, and you can use it if you like, but you don't need to. But in this case, I already have this connection, or I built this connection. And if I remove this line here and I run it just like that, let's see if I can run it here. Yeah, you can see. I also can say, oh my god, oops. I can say print done. Oh, look at this, look at this. I didn't even write anything, and I just wanted to print something, and GitHub is just telling me, oh, you want to write connection to PostgreSQL successful? No problem, I got you. And that's pretty useful. And then you can see I just run it, and nothing is happening because I didn't say anything else, right? So I just created the connection. And if you don't click on a movie when you are on Netflix, you won't watch a movie, or it won't start, right? So you just log in and nothing is happening. And that's why we need to say what happens next. And in this case, you can see when I write nothing, just like that, it suddenly tells me I want to, oops, oh my god, I don't have my Vim configuration here, so I can't show you, but no, it doesn't matter. So now it suddenly says cursor equals connection.cursor. And you need to understand what the cursor actually is. And to do that, we can again, like the cursor comes from the object connection, because remember, we created this connection here, and we labeled it or created a variable into that one, and this is the object, okay? Because if you go here and just say connection dot, you can see all the functions which I could use now to do something. And in this case, they have the cursor, and I need to understand what that is. So I just go here, press Control, and click on this one, and then you can see what that is. Let's see, the cursor, okay, this is just the argument, it doesn't matter. And then it sees it returns a new cursor, okay. The cursor factory argument can be used to create a non-standard cursors by passing an object. Okay, it's not so clear what it actually does, but let me just explain to you. So when you have a connection in your Python code, you need to pretend that you write some queries, right? And in this case, it's your cursor, because if you see here on in my IDE, or like this is how I always try to understand it myself. Like I have my cursor here, which is blinking right now, and anything I do in front of or after this cursor, that will be executed, right? That makes sense. Like when you are in Word, you need to click somewhere and start writing something, right? And in this case, the cursor object is exactly what the name is saying itself. Like this is your cursor, and because here in your Python code, you need to define a way how you can write queries. And in this case, you just need to say, I want to create a cursor now. Does it make sense? Johnny, hello? Or anybody?
Maybe from a beginner's perspective for the people who couldn't really follow. Long, can you open PGAdmin very quick?
Yeah.
To just show you, like, at the beginning, we opened this query tool here. So basically, this is what the cursor does. Like, this is the interface of a cursor. But for Python, it looks a little bit different. But basically, what you're typing in here for a query, is basically the same thing what a cursor would do.
Exactly.
For you.
Makes sense, right? Guys? Does anybody have any questions so far on this one? Guess you also can write if you want.
No question so far.
Okay. So you see, here I could say select name or whatever that is, name from a table which I don't have right now. And then that's what I also want to do in Python. Because remember, this is not Python. This is PGAdmin. And you need to do the same in Python. And that's why you create a cursor, just like that. And in most cases, they call it cur or something, or C. But for you, in the beginning, just write cursor. And then you can make the connection. And then what is this? Now, it's trying to tell me what I want to do here. Let's see, cursor dot. So, we told you that the cursor is this cursor here, right? And to execute something, you need to write cursor dot, and then look at this. It tells me I could write execute, and in this execute function, right? Or what I need to say before, the cursor doesn't require any parameters, because when you create it itself, it has all the constructors here, and it creates it by itself. That's why you don't need to pass any parameters. And then here we go back, we say cursor dot. And then I could see what I could write, but somehow it doesn't show me right now because I have GitHub CoPilot on. But most of the case, you will just use the execute function. In this case, execute. And now, look at this. I just copy. Oh, no, I don't copy it. I just write it here first. And I just copy this one right now. And I go here and say select, oh wait, what is it? Version. Oh my God, select version. So this is what I would do in PGAdmin. And this command here, or this query, basically says, select, just give me or return the version of my current PGAdmin. And if I run it right now, and I have to click on this button here, or just press F5, which is the same like on PGAdmin, then it will just run, and then it will return something for me. And this is your result window. It's like your IDE. Like when you run something, you also see at the bottom your results, right? And here you can see the version. Oh my God. Or the output actually is a table, right? Because when you work with a database and you write a query, of course you should get a table returned, even if there's just one result in. And in this case, you can see it says the version, which is a text, which stands for the data type of this column, which is text, which basically is like a string. And then it says the first, or like this is the header, and the first row in this table, which got returned, has the index 1, and the result is Postgres 14.5 compiled by Visual C++, blah, 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 all that stuff. And I could also probably say as Johnny. Let's see if this actually worked. I don't know. Look at this. Oh my God, I need to remove this. Now I said select version. And if I don't say anything else, it will just return version and that's it. But now I said as. Like this command tells you that you want to rename this column header. And in this case, I just called it Johnny. And that's what you can see. Suddenly it doesn't say version anymore, but it says Johnny. And that's like just an example how you could work with SQL queries in this case. So I just remove it. You also don't have to use semicolon here actually, but I always suggest or recommend to do that because sometimes you have another query, select all from something else also. And if you don't have a semicolon here, let's say I just run it because I don't have anything here and I run it, then most of the case it will just say you have two queries here, but I can't execute it because I don't know where it stops or something. So let's see it like this. But in this case, it will just run this command, this query, and then it's done. Maybe it works right now, but normally it will tell you you need to write a semicolon at the end of each query, so you mark the end. Okay, and also you don't need to write everything in capital letters. You also can say select. But I just like to write everything in capital cases because then I know this is a query. Okay, and then I do it here as well, right? So you can see this is like the cursor which executes the same the query which I just did on PGAdmin, or like the Postgres interface. And let's see what will happen here. So I'll just run it. And then first of all, you see nothing is happening, but what is happening is that it doesn't return any error, right? Because it executes that, but I don't tell him return the result. And in this case, what you always see in examples is that they say result equals cursor. And let's see what the result is. Oh no, now GitHub CoPilot already exposed what I wanted to hide. Because when you just print result, it will, or let's just see what it will do. You see, the result is none, which is nothing. And you're like, but actually I wanted to get this one here. Because let's check the type, print type of the result. And then let's see what it will say. Run, boom. And then, oh my god, it's none. Okay, that's not good actually. That doesn't sound good. So let's see what it actually does when I do what it's supposed to do. Because when you have the cursor execute command, or the function, you need to fetch the result as well. But let's see what will happen here. Let's see what will happen. First, check if you have an error or not. You can do that like this. So still everything is fine. And now let's see what happens when we just print the record. I will come back to fetch one after we figure out what the problem here is. So you can see, I just was a little bit too fast, but you can see here, this is exactly the same output which we have here, right? So if I go here and copy this, you can see that here, this is from, oh my god, we're gonna paste it here. Paste. This is like from PGAdmin, and this is from my terminal, from my Python code. So let's see what it will print here. Paste, boom. You see, it's exactly the same because it does exactly the same. And now I just explained to you what it does here. So when you have the cursor and you execute it, it still doesn't return you exactly the result or the row which you have. But you need to say, like, for example, wait, I need to give you an example because I don't have any data in my database. Let's go to this one. PostgreSQL fetch first rows only. So I go into this example, and I hope they have something. Blah, 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 blah. Oh shit, I have to write, of course, Python, man. Python. No, it's the same. Oh my god. How to correctly fetch first in Postgres? Oh shit. I have to write here Python Postgres fetch first. It's the same. Oh my god. Why don't I get any example? Is this here? No. Where is my Python example? Hello? Python pros psychopg fetch one or fetch all. Actually, I want to make you understand what it does. Is this one maybe select from Postgres using psychopg? Yeah, maybe this could work. Save and exit. No, it doesn't have any examples here. Oh, does it? Oh yeah, I think it does. No, that's not what I want to see. No, this is not what I look for. I need another example. Maybe this one. Okay, I think we have to stick to this example which I had before. Is this one? No. or this one? Okay, I will just stick to this one. Look, when you select something in your database, like let's assume we have a database, and let's just go here. Tables. We create a table and we call it YouTube data or whatever it is. Oh no, like users. And then I want to use it for long because now I'm just doing it in PGAdmin quickly, so I have something. And here, because you can create the same table in Python or in PGAdmin, but I don't recommend to do that in PGAdmin if you are on a project or something. Because now I just do it so I don't have to code it. And I say I have a name, and I say the user ID, which is, what is it? It's an int. Hello, int?
Integer.
Yeah.
It's integer.
Integer here. Okay, because if you create a table, and I assume you already have some experience with schemas, you have to define the columns of your database. In this case, I say I want to have a user ID, and it's a data type, and then I can decide all the other stuffs here, but it's not important now. And then I want to create another one, which is user name, and this is a text because it can be very long. And then I just say okay. So now you see I have a table which is called users, but I don't have any data inside. But I can do that actually. Hello. No, I have to click away. Okay, so let's say I have the tables users, and now I say select all from users, because that's how you query from a database, right? Or a table. And then okay, play, and then of course, oh, what's happening here? Select stars from users. Is it not happening here? Users, is it wrong? What is that? Users does not exist. Oh, of course, I have to say public. Okay, because you see it's from the schema public, and they have to say public. So let's see if that actually works. Can't execute an empty query. Okay. So I don't have any data in, so I'll just insert something. And to do that, actually I didn't want to do that, or like, let me check the time. Okay, we still have some time. Wait, let me just come back to this one. Because I think, I'm not sure how far you all are. That's why I don't know in which topic I should dive deeper at this very point. Because first I wanted to explain to you the fetch one example here. Because every time you execute a query, you have to decide how many entries or rows do you want to get back. And in this case, you have to say cursor and then fetch one or fetch many or fetch all. And then you get all the entries or the rows of this query back as a tuple. And I don't know if you still understand or remember what a tuple is, but you can see a tuple here, which basically looks like that. Tuple, like example, tuple, this. Oh, no, look at this. This is a tuple. So it apparently almost looks like a list, but the list would be with square brackets. But in this case, you have curved brackets or normal brackets. And you also can index them and say, for example, example, tuple, and then I just want the first one, and then you just get, you can see it also tells me what the result would be or could be. But that's just an example how the results get returned if you fetch the data from your SQL query in this case, okay? And
Did you have to put any parameters for the fetch all function?
No, you don't need. Because it just tells
for the
you.
Fetch many. Because you were only wanting to.
Yeah, because
10.
if you want to fetch many, you need to say how many you want. In this case, I want 500.
Oh, that's the parameter you have to put in.
Yeah, exactly. Because many doesn't tell you exactly how many you want, but you can decide. Like when I click here, you can see the size. The fetch many tells you the size. And then it will just tell you Okay, the arrow size, and then it will return a list of tuple.
So do we have to type in size equals? And
No, no,
then
no. You
10?
don't need to do that. You could,
Okay.
but here it's just default. But the only parameter here is the size, and then you just can write a number.
Okay.
You never need to do that. I could also write size if I want, but
Okay.
I mean, it would be really nice if you do that, so everybody knows that this is the size. So you don't need to look up what does this parameter actually stand for, you know. But nobody does that actually, except if you really, really like to stick to very clean and organized code. Okay. So in this case, this is just one example how I want to query the version of my Postgres. So like this is the first example you always need to do if you make a query to a database. It doesn't matter if it's your local database or if it's your database in the cloud or a random database, because you don't want to execute any queries, for example, select star from a specific table and you don't know how many entries they have, and then it will just destroy your computer, because then suddenly you will return, I don't know, 50,000 entries or a few millions or something, you know. That's why I just write execute select version, and then you will see if you have a stable connection or not, because your goal is to verify that you actually have a version, a connection, right? And then you can say fetch 1, and then you can see here print record here, record, and then wait, let's run it again just for the funsies. And then you see this is the record. But let's go back to the actual database here, because now we created the table users, right? Here. So let's try to select the users. So in this case, I have to say select, and I want to get the user ID and the user name, right, from users. And here, my GitHub CoPilot thinks I need to get the user email as well, because apparently all the users databases in GitHub, they have user emails, but I don't have it, so I just leave it. And then I say from users, and what is it called? Semicolon? Yeah, semicolon. Let's see what will happen. And then run, and then it just says none. Why does it say none? Johnny, do you know why it says none?
Because there are no entries.
Okay, let's see if it really is the one. So it really says nothing, and then I will delete this one. Okay, so you see I have nothing, and now I want to add something actually into my database from Python, because our goal is to create something from Python, and not to go into your PGAdmin and then right click and say I want to create a table or something. But because in this case we also can go here, and that's what I'm trying to show you. If you want to create a table, just go to Google and write PostgreSQL create table Python, and then hopefully you can get a return of some example code. Here, look at this. You have this example here. It says create table, and then it has this what is it, tuple of queries. But I will just copy this one and go into my code, and I say, for example, here. So let's actually go here and say, what did I copy again? Oh my god! Wait, I need to go here. Paste. Okay. So this is my create table query. So I just call it like this for now. So you actually, oh my god, what am I doing? Can I do this? Okay. So I just make it look a little bit good for you. Oh my god. Okay, so I just write this so it's in a new line. Because if you create a query in Python, you first need to define it somewhere, right? I mean, you also could just put it here, but to keep it a little bit cleaner, I just write it outside here so I have it as a variable. And then I say, for example, here again, cursor dot execute. Okay, it doesn't matter. I just cursor. Look at this. Now it takes this query inside this one, and I will just comment. Oh my god, how do you comment on Windows? Oh my god. Just do it like this.
Control/4.
Control/4?
//
Okay, thank you. So now I have cursor execute create table, right? So I wanted to create a table which is called vendors, and it has a vendor ID, which is a serial, and it's a primary key, which means this is the ID, and it will just increment itself. So you basically also could write int here, but if it's a serial, it will just increment itself for each entry. And then I have the vendor name, which is a varchar with 255 characters long. It can't be longer than this, and then it should not be null. So let's see what will happen if I just execute this one, right? Because my goal right now is to create a table from Python. And now let's see. Run playground. And of course, I should say print table created successfully in Postgres. Table vendors. Okay, I should do like this. Vendors created successfully. So let's see if it actually has been created. It is here, and I have to refresh it by right-clicking here and refresh. And then I hope it will be here somewhere. Refresh. Oh, of course not. Oh man. Okay. I have a question for Johnny. Do you know why the table is not here yet? Because you can see I refreshed it and it's still just users. Because we need to mention something specific. Johnny, do you know?
Are you talking about closing?
Yeah. I mean, it's also part of this code here, but I don't want to show you. But yes, you need to close a cursor as well when you are done, but this is not what I'm talking about. You need to do something as well. Like you said, or like what we did now is we want to execute this function, right? Or this query. Mm-hmm. But also, let's say, what happens when we copy this? Oh my god, wait.
Can I give a spoiler?
Here, let's say I do this. Yeah, you can give a spoiler. Let's see, I have so many queries and they're all different, right? Are they just gonna go or get executed one after one? Or when are they going to get executed? Because that's what we're talking about. Blazar, what do I have to do? Oh my god.
Oh, too late. The CoPilot already showed.
Okay.
Yeah, basically, at the end, you have to do commit. But yeah,
exactly.
I remember from the last thing we did.
So let's see what that is. So it apparently GitHub CoPilot understands my noob code here, and he understands you need to commit your code or your whole queries which you want to push to your Postgres, because you have to imagine it's like Git, because all this which you have here, like the execute part, it basically is just your Git, like your staging area, where you say git add this file, git add this folder, or change here and there, anything like that. Because when you say git add, the code isn't on GitHub yet, right? It only gets to GitHub when you write git, or what do you have to do to get your code on GitHub after saying git add? Johnny or anybody. Okay, so I just committed it. Is it then on the cloud already?
No, it's just staged. If after committing it, you have to push it, not using git push. Exactly.
And now this is the same. Like this connection commit, like you can see, it's not referring to the cursor now, but it's related to the connection, because if you remember, the connection is your whole like connection to your database. Like, because I just called it connection here apparently. This is your object which has the connection to your database. And now you have to say, I want to take all the queries which I have right now and execute them on my Postgres or PGAdmin. Because I also could say or add another query here before I commit it, and then all of them will just get executed. But right now I just have one, and now let's see if that actually works. So I say okay, and now it just says okay, I created it because I posted this here. And now let's see if my database has a new one. Oh, what is this? Look at this. Now it says users and vendors. And now I created two, or like another table which is called vendors. And this is how you can do that in Python, okay? And the last thing which I want to show you today is how we can insert data into your database or in your table. And for that, of course, you all again go here and let's say maybe it's look. But before we do that, check this out. It also says like it just loops through the commands here, because you can see the commands here are or is a tuple or list or like just a list of tuples, and then it just executes all of them. Then it closes the communication, and then it commits the change. You see, that's what the code is doing. But what we actually are looking for is for the Postgres insert example.
I have a question.
Yes.
Can you explain to me what the 3 quotation marks stand for?
Wait, let me check this out here. So the 3 quotation marks, that's a good question actually. They don't really stand for anything except for 2 things. The first one is docstring. So I don't know if you know what docstrings are. Docstring Python, for example, here. Let's see that. So look at this. Oh my god, what is that? Be gone. Boom. Docstrings are those parts below your functions or above them where you write your comments and you explain what does this function do, or what are the parameters, and all that stuff. You can see that here because this is important when you want to create a documentation, because docstring, I think it stands for documentation. It's helping you to take all those docstrings which you write into a function and then create a real documentation which describes all your functions. And then it says, okay, square has one parameter which is n, and it stands for the amount or like the value which you want to multiplicate with itself or something. And then it will also explain it here. You see, this is the first case. And the second case is when you work with queries. But let's see, what does it say? Nothing. But this is just a sign, or like the indicator, or the unspoken indicator between the developers, or a guideline which says this is not a string, which I normally do for this one here. Like my name is long. This is not the same, because I also could say long like this also, or here long like this. It also could work like this, but you don't do that, right? Because why should you do that if one is enough? But in this case, this tells you this is not a real string which you can use just like a variable, but it's a query string which you should use in something like this. Okay?
Understood, thank you.
So
yeah, Blazor also said it's a multi-line string. Strings that support paragraphs without having to create a new set on strings.
True. Actually, you also could take it like that. I've never read that it stands for multi-strings, but it would make sense, because then it means you have multiple lines, and then those 3 quotation marks indicate that you have more than that, right? That could be also pretty reasonable. But yeah, that's basically it. And what we want to
thank you.
do now is not this one, but I copy this example here, because if you want to insert into a database, you have to write insert into table name, and then the columns. But let me just do it for you. I think it's easier if I do it like this. So I go here and I say insert into, and remember, in PGAdmin or in your query editor, you don't have to write everything into one line. You also could write everything in a new line, because I have to do it right now because my font is too big. And in this case, I say insert into. Oh wait, I do it like this. Oh yeah, insert into, and I have to write the name of my table, which is users. And then I have to define in brackets which columns I want to use. Because I just can't say I just want to insert the name of users, you know? But in this case, I say user ID and username, because if I remember correctly, I can go here and see I have columns which are called user ID and username. And that's what I have here, right? And then I say I want to add the values for those user ID and usernames. And in this case, I have to map it. Like the first value needs to be the user ID. And in this case, I will just say, because I remember it's an integer, so I say it's 1. And then I say username, which is now I say Johnny. And remember what I told you?
I think you have to use the single quotation marks, no?
Oh, I don't know, because I rarely do it here, so let's see what it does. But I think you are right, because I always get this error on BigQuery, and it says you need to remove that, or it doesn't find the command. But thank you, Johnny. So, Johnny, you see, the user ID is here, username is here, and remember what I said before? We also could have said, like in vendors, that your vendor ID is not an integer but a serial. And if it would be a serial, I wouldn't need to edit like this. And then I just could say username, and the ID will increment itself because it's a serial number. It just goes from the current number to the next one. But here I have it as an integer, so I have to edit like this. And now I just press OK. Oh, of course, man, I forgot this. Public. I think there's a command somewhere where you don't need to do that anymore, but you know, this is a fresh installment, so I don't know where to do that. I need to look it up. But if it disturbs you, just look it up how you can make it trivial, and then you can remove the public. But yeah, let's see. Oh my god, insert into public users. What is happening? Relation public users does not exist. Oh my god, what's happening? I have no clue why this is working anymore. I think
Also could use quotation mark on the columns.
And the columns? You mean here?
Use the ID,
Let's
yeah.
see. I don't remember anymore. Let's see. I don't think it's necessary. Oh my god. Oh my god, please make it smaller. I think we had a similar error on your side, Johnny. No, you see, we don't need that actually. Wait, let me see. Insert into public users. Something is wrong here. User ID, username. Wait, okay, now I removed it. Maybe it was just the error here. Okay, it seems like I have to set something here, or I'm forgetting anything. But just let's leave it like that. I will just copy this one, and if it would work, it would have a new entry in this case. So let's figure out after we did the Python part of that one. Then we go here, and I say I have a new query in this case, or just like I say insert query, insert users query. Oh my god, query. But I think it won't work here either if it didn't work there before. But I don't know why it's currently doing that. Paste. So I have it here, insert users. Okay, values is here. So look at this. I think I can make it in one line. So I have this one now, and I want to execute this case here.
Sorry, Long. Should you also not refer to the public
Oh my God.
folder in Python?
So what is the question?
No, shouldn't you also refer to a query to the public folder?
The public folder? You mean here?
Yeah, you've got public.users.
Yeah.
In Python, you just said users.
Yeah, let's see. I actually don't know this right now. Let's see. Let's run it. Oh my God, nothing is happening here. But apparently it seems like something happened, but we don't have an error. So let's see what happened. First of all, I can go to my dashboard and I would see something happening here. What is that? Look at this. Can you see this line here? There's a line. There's one transaction. It happened right now. And then I go back to my query editor and I say select all, like star means I want everything. I want the user ID, want username from public.users. So let's see what's happening here. Oh my God. Wait, something is wrong here. What did we do before? Users. Huh? Wait, what are we doing here? Oh, wait. I think I know what's the problem. Oh my God, wait. Let me close this. Remove this panel. Don't save. I think we have to go like this. Query tool. Because sometimes it's connected to where you started the query editor. Let's see. Select all from users. So that's one. Look, yeah, you see, because I think I had another session somewhere and it wasn't connected to public anymore. It was something else, I don't know. But now I went here and said in users, create a query tool here and open it from here. You can see it at the bottom here. Then it will be, or it understands that it's coming from or for the query for the users table. And in this case, you can see we just added this guy. And I think now when we take this again, copy here. Oh, shish. We go here and insert values which are here. Of course, you can't say the same number here. You should say 2, and then it would be Mornay. So let's see. And now you can see it works. So it was an error, which I don't understand why I created this one. But you can see now it said inserted 1 entry. And now I go back to the previous query so I can check how many I have. And you see, now I have this one. And because we now have users in our query, I can remove all of that here. And I want to fetch 1 because that was our previous problem. So let's go here and say we want to remove this thing here, result, select user ID from users, and we just want to fetch 1. And then I say print record, print, record. And now it should return a tuple of Johnny. So you see, this is a tuple of Johnny. And now I just said 1. But let's say I want to get fetch all, and then it should give me a list of tuples. So I would have this block twice, but with a different value. So you see, this is a list of different rows in this case. Because if you can see here, there are 2 rows, and here we have 2 tuples. Because this is what I forgot in the beginning very often. Like I forgot that it's a tuple or that I just fetched 1 or something, And that's what I want you not to do. Remember that you always have to fetch a specific amount of rows. In this case, fetch many, and then I say, for example, 1. Well, 1 is actually stupid. So it says say fetch 2, and then I do this again, and of course it will get me the same result. And that's how you can execute or query Postgres from Python. All right? Any questions, guys?
No questions. No questions.
Perfect, perfect. Okay, another thing which I can give you as a tip, whenever you do test locally, always add a try except block. Just like that. It doesn't matter what exception you get, it just helps you to catch it, because sometimes your code just runs and it doesn't do anything, and you don't know that it had an error or something. But most of the case, of course, it will just return an error. But here you have a safe or bulletproof process which catches your error. Okay, so just add this every time you do something, and make it a habit that you could write it into every function of you, for example, just to catch it, so you know where the error is occurring. Okay, that's one thing you should focus on. And remember, don't save your credentials in Python. Locally, it doesn't matter, but when we publish our first code or our code into GitHub itself, you shouldn't have any stuff like that in your code if it's a database in production. Okay? So then we are done for today, actually. Oh my god, we did a little bit overtime, but I did everything I wanted to do for the database part. And the next task would be that you use or work with any API which you want. In this case, Johnny, for example, works with Reddit. You also could work with some food data or COVID data. Just let me know if you have any interest in specific data. I can help you finding the right data set. And then you need to insert your data from the API into your Python code into a database. In this case, it's Postgres. And if you are fluent in this process, then we can move further to the next part. All right? So that's it for today. Thank you guys for joining and also for listening. And if you have any questions, just let me know in the chat as well. Thank you for joining again.
Nice timing. Nice timing. I was waiting for the line. So I saw a mention of me in the chat, and Johnny told me that you are going to learn how to write Python programs with Microsoft Word next. Is this true?
What? Wait, say it again. I just heard Microsoft.
Oh, so Johnny mentioned me in the comments, so I had to like check out why he mentioned me, and he said something like, "We are going to learn how to write Python programs with Microsoft Word next." Is this true?
Can somebody translate? I already forgot what Tenek said.
So we are going to learn how to write Python programs with Microsoft Word next. Is this true?
Wait,
Maybe you should ask Joma. He can teach you.
Oh yeah, Microsoft Word is a really good IDE because you have so many colors, man. It's amazing.
You guys are way too advanced. I use MS Paint.
So are you going to teach us how to use MS Paint next time, Long?
No. This is for bloody beginners, like at the stage before our class. That's why we will just stick to Word, man. Word.
I've noticed everyone is now good enough to be an intermediate developer, so we have to move on to the hard part, you know.
Yes.
Object-oriented programming, algorithms, recursion.
Oh yes, that would be a nice topic. How about you come in and do a class next time, Tenek? How about that?
Me talking about recursion?
I heard recursion.
Yeah, that's what happens with your microphone, Blazer, when you speak. We just hear ourselves all over again and it will never stop. It's like an echo, man.
Yeah, you get done what
You
you get
just
done is a
explained
Stack
recursion.
Overflow error.
Yeah,
Don't do
man.
it.
all right.
Don't just explain recursion.
Yeah, maybe we can do that next time. But now I just wanted to highlight or focus on the ETL part, especially the loading part, because today we learned how to load data into your database, right? Which is a very, very important step, and do as much as possible. And that's it for today. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and just comment down below if you watched this video, and join our Discord. So thank you, and see you in the next time, guys. Peace. Say your last famous words, Tanek.
Buy more Bitcoin.
Thanks.